And we're back here on La Vida Baseball live. It's Bien Guillén time. Buenos dias, buenas tardes, Oney Guillén. I'm trying to connect here with the fans.
You have no idea how long I've been waiting for Friday. And not because I'm going to go out later and probably have a great time, but just because everything that's been going on, I've been dying to get on our platform and share my thoughts. And I know I've been hearing everybody. I mean, it's crazy. No baseball. The offseason is supposed to be boring. Not anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then people want to know where Ozzie Guillén is at. He's actually traveling today from Montería back to Panama, where he'll definitely be coming back to the States, on the States side. But a huge day last night. But let's do this first. Before we get into leading to what happened last night, let's go to the videos of what Ozzie Guillén has been doing in his time traveling Latin America.
Guys, I'm in Bogota, Colombia, on my way to Montería to see the Vaqueros. Hopefully they can clinch on the Colombian League. It's excited. I love it. To see my youngest one to play the game. Hopefully he win a couple more games. Here we go. Let's go, Vaqueros. See you guys, Guilléns. Hey guys, finally I'm in Montería. Montería, Colombia. Go Vaqueros, and hopefully everything go well for them. I see you guys soon. I keep you guys on time. Hey, back to the Vida Baseball. Look at this. This is amazing. How people love baseball. How people love this game. And this is Colombia. That's an amazing way to appreciate baseball. For you guys, the Guilléns, let's go, Vaqueros de Montería, vámonos! All the way from Montería, Colombia, the Vaqueros playing the 4-game final, hopefully the last one. I think this place right now is rocking. It's awesome. It's amazing. I went to the World Series, but when I see people like this, I'm so excited. Back in their hometown, this is something you cannot describe. All right, boys, the Guilléns show. Love you guys. All the way from Montería, Colombia.
Y van a recibir nada más y nada menos Héctor Fabio Cordero y Sebastián Escobar, pitcher monteriano, y el señor Héctor Fabio, el presidente de Vaqueros de Montería. Vamos a ver. Muy bien. Señores, aplauso para el lanzamiento inicial de este gran partido. Y de esta manera oficialmente le damos a ustedes la bienvenida y
And Bien Guillén is back. What a great job by Ozzie Guillén helping him out with those videos, because the
unsung hero of
the trip. No, so when we started filming these, we did not know what the outcome was of the end of the series. So Ozney now is a champion in the Caribbean League of Colombia. Vaqueros de Montería, first year that the team's an expansion team. He had players as young as 17. He had veterans guys as Alberto Callaspo. This is our correspondent, Nicole Fernandez, congratulating him. That's been down there with him, covering the league. It's very exciting for Ozney. He is going to manage in the Caribbean Series, the biggest series in Latin America in winter ball, where all the teams from different countries meet one another.
Yeah, it's truly, I mean, other than, congratulating him and him being our brother, it's actually like a big, big accomplishment for someone so young, for it to happen so fast, for it to happen with a relatively unknown franchise in a relatively unknown city. It's very exciting. I've never been to a Caribbean Series. I'm looking forward to, going out there. This will be our first time. And I remember, my dad represented a couple times in the Caribbean Series. So it's all full circle. And I mean, I'm looking at the videos. I don't think my dad ever celebrated the Sox winning that that much.
No, he didn't.
Like he was. Like, I saw.
I loved his satchel.
Yeah, his clothes is a whole different ballgame.
This Louis Vuitton.
No one knows this about Ozzie. My dad dresses according to wherever he's at. If he's in Panama, he goes Panamanian style. If he goes Colombian, there's something about
satchel.
him.
He had a satchel on.
He had a satchel on, and I'm like, what? Why are you wearing those shoes? He had on like like gator shoes. I'm like, he just tries to fit in and he tries to blend in. But
and then Ebius threw out the first pitch with Ozzie, which is never even that hasn't happened either.
Right.
Ebius threw out a first pitch.
So that led to the conclusion of, Ozzie's won, Ozney's won a title. You and I haven't won anything.
We haven't won anything
unless you count Browns men's league championship.
14 when we won that men's league championship. But here's the thing, though, when it comes to Ozney, and it's something I wanted to bring up. So Ozzie's super proud. The only thing on Ozzie's mantle that Ozzie has not been able to accomplish is winning a championship in a winter league to get to manage in the Caribbean, and Ozney's doing it with a team that a year ago did not even exist, and that's huge from a family standpoint. From a baseball standpoint, here's a young man who is kind of like a hybrid of what baseball's looking for now. And even though that's the case, when I say a hybrid is he's bilingual, he's super analytical. Managed last year with the Houston Astros because of the issues that were going on in Houston. He's not coming back with Houston. He's managing young men in Latin America, he's actually doing the job, yet in the United States he's still a free agent. You have a first woman coach getting to the big leagues without ever having to coach in the minor leagues. So the world is completely upside down of what route you take. And I'm not saying women don't deserve to be in MLB. I'm just saying you're grabbing people from the front office and plugging them in as coaches with never even being in the minor leagues.
Or thinking it's going to work. I mean, it's just it's a shame that people with great resumes now, like you don't know what they're looking for or what avenue do you need to travel in order to get this. I mean, I congratulate Ozney because it's people have no idea what it's like growing up.
Well, being Guillén, it's a great thing because when you pull up to a bar back in the day, you get free drinks, get food. But that also comes with all the great stuff, obviously love and care. And growing up, we didn't care for anything.
Hey, Ralph Botello, why doesn't your dad coach MLB again?
Because he's systematically banned.
Yeah, and it's not a choice. It's not his choice. My dad's opening to managing.
By the way, the hard thing about managing is that you can't apply.
Right, like
for a job.
You can't give someone a resume and say, hey, hire me.
Yeah, and Ozzie can't go off full blown and attack MLB because again, Ozney wants to coach at minor league baseball. And this is the part about like the woman part. I'm not against her being a woman in MLB. I wish that we would hire more girls, go through the minor league system so there is a route. Not this plug-in of, this random person that was right to the show. Yeah. That's the part that I don't get. Like, it'd be great if there was women working in winter ball and there was girls working in single A and double A because you played minor league baseball. There's two coaches and the trainer.
I have no idea how this is going to work. I've been in a clubhouse before. I have no idea.
I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah, because it's a lot, it's a lot that goes on in a clubhouse. It's a very savage, cave-like mentality. Buzzers or no buzzers. It's
people have a hard time with Aubrey Huff right now on Twitter.
Yeah.
Imagine having him in a clubhouse.
You can't be very sensitive or someone might be easily offended. The talks really revolve around guy stuff. Very male testosterone.
But people will tell you that that's wrong that they do that in the clubhouse, and then they should be more.
I don't think it's a clubhouse. It's not a church.
Yeah.
That's what people do to let blow off their steam.
Well, that's my opposite. Like I think that for me it's more about I wish that there was young girls working in the minor leagues and there was a girl that was in AAA doing this job and they called her up. I would think that's amazing. I just think it's very interesting when you get a coach that you've never had in the big league level and you kind of just plug it in and you're not even making it part of the staff. It's actually a MLB coach. So I want to see if she's going to be wearing the uniform. But the part that's hard about this is, Ozney's getting. So Ozzie doesn't have a college degree, unfortunately. He has to finish that. He can't coach college. He can't manage a college team. But yet he's losing to guys that were like, hey, last year was a pitching coach in high school. Okay, we'll hire him. Why? Because he's doing analytical things. There's a place called, on Twitter, there's a place called Driveline Baseball. Okay, and I want you guys to tag them. And this place is one of those places where they do the hitting stuff. Every Major League Baseball, everyone that's worked there gets hired. I'm like, okay, Ozney, go work for Drive Live.
And come out and get a job.
You're gonna get a job.
But you know what? To be honest with you, the thing you're talking about Ozney and his resume is great.
And that's not just Ozney. I'm talking about a lot of people
across the board. But my old man can't
Well, that's
get
what I'm
an
saying,
interview.
though.
Joy Cora can't get an interview.
So if you have success
Yeah.
in baseball, you basically are not qualified to be a coach. Right now, this chubby, losing hair person broadcasting this show who has an MBA, has a project management certified, can do Excel, and can code, is more qualified to be a major league coach than Ozzie and Ozney Guillén.
Yeah, it's a different
That
route.
is crazy.
And I saw Tony Sinstrong. Thank you for the comment. Yeah,
The Mets would be fun.
Ozzie would be great in New York.
Mr. Met. I love Mr. Met.
But it's very, anyone that's coming in to get ahead of ourselves, it's not exactly like you're coming into like the best situation. Like I would be, it's a hard thing.
I
to
would
step
want
in.
the Mets one before the other two teams.
Absolutely.
Even though that division's very scary,
Absolutely.
I would want the Mets job before.
Whoever comes in as the Astros guy, that's a tough situation to come into. So congratulations to Ozney. Congratulations. You know what? And I got a little teary eyed when they caught the ball, the last out, when I saw him, because I know how hard it is being Guillén in baseball, because I went through it. And
well, that's why I'm not in it.
And Ozney went through, he's following actually, my dad's footsteps as far as coaching and then, being a manager. I know what he's been through. It's not easy. He's gotten booed. He's dealt with it in the right way, but it's not easy. Everyone looks at it like, wow, it's so cool.
I'll give you an explanation
but it's
real
not
quick.
Easy.
I have a better chance, with my network of people, to go work in banking, go work in corporate America, go work in a Fortune 500 company. I have a better chance of getting an interview with any of those industries that has no background in being in baseball, which is our family, tree or legacy, than getting an interview or a potential job in a Major League Baseball team.
Yeah, it comes, having our last name, it comes with luggage. It comes with luggage, baggage, whatever you want to call it, because...
And Ozney's not like that either.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Like the good with the bad. People see us, they immediately think of our father, but that's the way it's always going to be.
And that's the thing that's funny, because Ozney, when people considered him old school, and I'm considered old school, like... We've read the analytics. We know that stuff. We know it. And again, he's a great combination of what I think the future of baseball is, of communicating to the human being and being able to apply the numbers. Because again, this is a game of, we just saw right now with the controversy. AJ Hinch, even though he knew the numbers, did not have the manhood in the way the story goes to say, this is my clubhouse. We're not doing X, Y, and Z. Hold on. And then Mike Scioscia, Terry Francona's son, is on Twitter, and he said that when he worked with Anaheim, his job was to run the replay room, and that there was players that were interested in like using it. How can we use this? And Mike Scioscia said, not on my watch. No, everybody stay away from the replay room. Nobody's allowed in there. So that's, to me, that is a manager.
That just shows you that now that you look at it, Mike Scioscia, old school guy, had control of his clubhouse.
Do you want to call it old school guy or just a guy that knows what he's doing in his job?
Yeah, but it's also like, I think AJ Hinch, if people don't know this, like him and Alex
don't like each other. They didn't like each other.
They don't get along.
They had issues.
They had a lot of issues. So I think that's what happened. I think Alex was with his couple of guys, and AJ Hinch was there, and he could have maybe wanted to be like, stop this, but I don't have the clout.
Well, I think that the players that were there, I think, looked up to Alex, and AJ might have been just a player
AJ was
on
just
paper.
A guy there, like, I can't tell these guys to stop. I want to, but he didn't have that power.
Well, I think it's funny when people are like on the media, like, oh, he's such a good manager, but then every move that he was going to make, even last year, he turned to Joe Espada. Like every move that he made.
I mean, it's just all of this is very unfortunate.
Alex won without him, even with the whole, if you want to cheat, he didn't win without Alex.
This is all very, very unfortunate, but those are things that are happening right now. And MLB, we have to pivot and figure out what's it going to be. So we have to see what Commissioner Manfred's punishment is to Alex.
So do you think, again, we're going to hit the topic of the scandal because you've been dying to talk about it, this whole buzzer thing of guys wearing a buzzer and the Altuve controversy, and it's gone a little bit deeper. We have a former player for a team like the White Sox that I don't even want to talk about, but is calling out guys that are Hall of Famers that were doing things back in the 80s. Like, specifically right now on the Altuve thing, if Major League Baseball, if someone leaks something out that shows that Major League Baseball was lying about them not finding any devices, what has to happen after that?
Well, I mean, if they did find him or anyone wearing devices, they should be banned for life.
You're going full out ban.
They should be banned for life.
And do they lose the World Series
They
champion?
still vacate it. Everyone knows that who won it, but they should vacate the title.
In the history books.
In the history books, it's like an asterisk. No one's there. No one's entitled.
I want to buy the right. I want to buy the rights
Because
right now
there
to the
is
story.
There is no Felipe Torres. Will the Astros have an asterisk in the history books? Absolutely. Will they have an asterisk? They have a asterisk right now.
Astros don't mean anything, guys.
I mean, to who?
To me, it doesn't.
To you, it doesn't. But to people that love the game, now with this day and age and social media, what happened to the Astros was a complete disaster. Is it worth? Yeah, it might not be worth it. It might be worth it for Jim Crane. If I'm Jose Altuve, if I'm Alex Bregman, if I'm Carlos Correa, if I'm Yuli Gurriel, I am embarrassed. The first day I showed up to spring training, I cannot even look. I wouldn't even want to wear my World Series ring. I have Astros gear at home that was given to me from my brother that I don't want to wear, that I'm going to give away because I don't want to get ragged on the gym. True story. And it's MLB gear.
I'm going to wear it.
You can wear it. I have a hat. I have everything. I don't want to wear anything Astros related because of that. I know people. I've talked to people directly affected. So I've talked to Alex. I've talked to the hitting coaches. It's embarrassing. That doesn't mean they're bad people.
They're not bad people.
Because it doesn't mean that they're bad people. I think they got carried away with wanting to win so bad that the lines got blurred, and this happened.
Let me talk about the lines got blurred, okay? And I think that when you're in a competitive world, and this is why when people say, why would Jimmy or Tommy take steroids? Why? He broke my heart. Well, buddy, it's because they're going to make millions of dollars, and the pressure to compete is there. So I think that this was something that people don't realize this. Like, when I hear the word ringleader, and they don't know how this works. They don't think that there's like a guy that's like, hey guys, this is how we're gonna ship this and we're gonna do this. No, that this is not organized crime. The reason how this worked was they were doing something in a certain way. This is why they've been linking the Astros to 2014. They could have linked Astros as they were an expansion team. Okay, someone gets on the team and says, hey, by the way,
we should do this.
We should do this better because this works a lot better. The problem with them was that there was a lot of guys doing it. Right now, maybe Altuve and the other Bregman were the only guys, or Springer were the only guys using the buzzer. And Alex and AJ Hinch had no idea about this. It could have been a one-off. So I think that someone does not sit and say, hey, guys, this is the plan for how we're going to do this. It's also, just adding.
And it's also, these are grown men that we're talking about, so you're held accountable for your own actions. You don't have to do it.
How do they not get drilled?
That's
other teams are like that. I think it's funny. Marco Stroman, I'm going to say your name. Trevor Bauer, I'm going to say your name. All these players that have come out and said, we knew it. Mike Fears, I'm going to say your name when you're with Oakland. All these pitchers, we know what they're doing. Stop it, guys. Hold on. Drill somebody.
You know who actually did drill someone? Chris Sale.
In
Detroit.
The whole rumor, Victor Martinez, I'm going to say your name. The whole thing about he was doing this and doing that, and Victor Martinez drilled him.
Sale drilled him.
No, I said drilled Victor Martinez. Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, why is he drilling him?
Because he thought
they thought there was something. They
which
were
is probably right.
Which is probably right. It was tipping, stealing. I don't care what he drilled him. Again, I've talked to former players, and someone's like telling me, oh, well, this is not about old school. No, when you think the other team's doing something, you drill them. I've seen guys relay signs in the big league level get drilled. They were using, I don't know what device they were using or if they were going old school or new school, but they were like, this guy's giving signs, we're going to drill him. And then the team would stop. Again, the fact that this team again, I don't know nothing about Boston, but the fact that the allegation of the Houston Astros goes back and they got video of April, May, June, July, August. It's like, oh yeah, we totally knew we were going in there.
The trash can, I mean, I've talked about it with guys that were there and they were there later. The trash can, it's all reported. Like, it was literally, that's what they were doing.
I'm waiting still for the people to show me the trash can incident in Boston because they can't find it.
No. I think in Boston it's different. In Houston, they were doing the trash can and the banging. It's unfortunate. It's sad. They got caught. You pay the consequences. AJ Hinch gets a year. Loonhow. Alex, we don't know what his suspension is going to be.
It should be just 1 year.
He's a two-time offender, though.
Again, under somebody else's watch.
But by the way,
consider the witnesses, okay? again, if you're going to get him for Boston, and that's why I thought Beltran was not going to lose his job, because unless they found him guilty for something in New York, I was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but he was in the only reason that the Mets had it's such a Mets thing. The Mets had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, the Mets had nothing.
It's like someone getting killed. You get splashed with blood. The Mets, they hired Beltran not knowing any of this. That already came out. They just came out with the short end of the stick.
And by the way, they took like 8 months to interview him, finally pick him. And
right. So, I mean, the Mets were like, we had no idea this was coming out. Not only that, what made it worse was when they asked Carlos about it, he denied it.
Yeah.
He said, I did nothing wrong. Granted, he had no idea. It blew up in his face.
Yeah, and here's the part, though, that when it comes about denying and jumping in. So you got two people, they committed a crime, okay? You always want to be the first person that has that conversation. Because you're like, okay, they know. And then I'm like, well, Oney, okay, I was there. It's like when you have again, I'm watching the Aaron Hernandez story. And the funny thing is, again, I'm not a lawyer, even though I love watching lawyer shows and whatnot. They knew that Aaron Hernandez was involved. But the whole trial was about if Aaron had pulled the trigger. So this is about who pulled the trigger on the stealing. So everybody's like, oh, yeah, it was Alex. Oh, yeah, it was Alex. So everybody's saying that. It's like, this is going to be the fall guy.
Well, or survival of the fittest.
Beltran played like not even half of the games. The guy was like a glorified player.
Coach.
Well, I'm saying like he was a glorified player, that he was a coach. He should have been coaching instead of playing. So these guys are going out there and saying, it's like if David Ross gets caught and saying, oh, David Ross did something on the Cubs, and he's like, he played like what, 1 game a week? It's not the same as like the main player. So that's why the Altuve thing I think has a lot more like, wow, this guy, he was in the lineup every day. Springer got an MVP. So those are the things that when I'm looking at it, I'm like, the ringleader, like, do you think AJ Hinch was sat down and said, yes, it was me, I took the blame?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely, no one would do that.
I'm sure that he knew, you know what, I'm going to put the blame on the guys that at that
moment you try to save yourself.
And you're saving yourself because you're like, you know what, I'm already caught.
I'm already caught.
But I don't want. Nobody wants to be
the
caught
main guy.
alone.
Not only caught alone, you don't want to be.
I was out, but I was also with this guy.
You don't want. I want to call like the Pablo Escobar, the sign stealing situation with the, like Pablo Escobar. Everyone like thinks back in the days like he's the only drug dealer in Colombia. The only guy they mentioned, but there's like when you look at the books, there's like 7,000 guys. Al Capone is like, you talk about gangsters in Chicago, everyone talks about Al Capone like he's the only guy that was doing that illegally. Again, you cannot have it both ways, guys. And again, I think that this affected people in the sense that guys like Roy Oswald are saying, what, sign stealing? Big whoop. Then you got guys like saying this is worse than steroids. Again, I think it's a cultural thing within the clubhouse of what they're expecting.
No, absolutely.
And
And the sign stealing, guys, tell us what you think over at Vida Baseball. And we want to read your comments and comment. I know this is everyone's.
I got them right here.
Everyone wants to chime in on the opinion.
I got it. I got the phone today, so I'm reading the comments right here.
And I've played. The sign stealing can happen. We just don't want devices and cameras to take them.
Well, number one,
it's very simple.
The part is funny, and I got hated on for this. I said, because AJ said, well, I wasn't stealing the signs, and I said, well, because you don't have the capability of doing it. Because you have to learn how to decode it.
Yeah,
I was always really bad at signs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. But if you're looking at it over and over again, and you're literally in front of a monitor, it's pretty easy. They have video guys. There's also reports of Alex supposedly calling the replay room and asking for it and texting. This is different level of cheating in 2019.
But he's going to pay for that.
Right.
Again, but I think that if they keep opening this, like yesterday, the whole
Pandora's
thing.
box?
With the buzzer thing, though, they had videos of like this guy, and then some Brocious Jr., whatever his name, he throws, Mike Trout's sitting there. I think Major League Baseball has an issue of like, whoa.
They had no idea. They opened up something and they had no idea they're going to get this overwhelming. Like, people were like, well, I'm going to talk too, and I'm going to talk. And you got ex-players, and you got Gary Sheffield's kid and Brocious kid, and everyone's coming in and chiming in on Twitter. And there's guys like Bellinger, like, I want to be clean and clean up the game. And Clevenger, I'm going to drill guys if that's a problem. Me, I love it because...
Well, you love it because you're not the one that tweeted it.
Yeah, I love it because it's entertaining, and I would like to know that everyone's playing on an even playing field. There's no place for that. But the guys coming out from the 80s and 90s saying, we did it. I'm like, stop. You had these guys took it to a different level.
Yeah,
like stop.
It's like dialing tone
and
the phone.
I mean, these
it's
guys.
It's like 5G and like the old school internet.
But what did Manfred do? This will stop people from cheating, or at least
will it?
I don't. Or get rid of the video. Get rid of the video room in its entirety.
Oh, well, the reason they have,
no one's allowed.
I think that I've been saying it from the beginning. I think the replay room should definitely be something that the manager sees with his eyes and says, "I'm going to make the decision yes or no."
Or you have a monitor right next to you in the dugout, and that one monitor, you have a chance. Okay, I'm going after it. But this video room, they can go, they can hang out. You know, I haven't been in the clubhouse in a long time. This all got implemented
when they don't have monitors in Latin America.
In Latin America, they don't even have phones to be able to do it with. They don't even. This all came into place in 2014. Yeah. The video rooms. Last time I was in the clubhouse every day was 2012. So the environment is different. I know if I was in the clubhouse and I was 19, 20 years old, I'd be one of those guys in the replay room, and I'd run up and tell my dad, challenge it or don't challenge it, or hey, this guy, it is, because it's part of the environment and you're in it and you're gonna do anything you can to win.
Like when you bad boy.
Yeah, you're part of it, and you're like, and I know you have stories about when you bad boyed. Felipe, you, Darvish, and Clayton must feel a bit of sense of relief they weren't that bad. No, they weren't that bad. If I'm Clayton Kershaw and I'm a Dodgers fan, I am very, very upset. Clayton Kershaw was up 4 to 5 runs, and they tagged him, and you look at it now, and it looks kind of like, my God, that's that obvious? This guy's throwing crazy pitches. Yeah. That would make me upset. Yeah. I know that they're at home thinking like, wow, like I got beat, but I didn't get beat the fair way. Mind you, they put those splits of Altuve at home and on the road. That doesn't look good. Yeah, you're hitting 400 and you're hitting 143 at home.
The splits are very hard to see.
And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like, my God, Altuve's like, he's like a superhuman. He's like a midget or a short person, and he's hitting 99, turning on balls at his eyes. 100.
Well, that's the part that when you have eyes, and again the whole second guessing thing, like that you say, "Oh, I wasn't wrong."
You take the guessing out of it. Has anyone out there played video games? It's like when you guess a pitch and the thing starts blinking. That's what your eyes get like. Whoa! And he's already good. They're all great.
I think the hardest thing for me though is the fact that Alex is involved. Because I know Alex personally, I know his family. I care more about his family than I do about him because he's a big boy. He'll be able to handle it. But I'm talking about Ozzie can't come out and say, "Well, I didn't cheat." Where's my
because
credit?
it looks bad because you also know the guy very well.
Well, you know the guys very well.
Yeah.
And again, you can't put yourself in that situation
situation.
I'm never going to do it. And that's the thing that's a part that I think if you're in the baseball game, I've been there competitive wise. I hate when guys say, "Well, I wouldn't do it." Well, have you gone 0 for 42? You don't know that.
And I like to tell people this all the time. Listen, it's a lot different when you come from a baseball community and background. I've spoken to Alex's his ex-wife, and the situation that they're going through is tough.
It is.
It's tough because that little girl, she's embarrassed to go to school. Yeah. She's embarrassed to see people because of the people just look at it as like, oh, it's a sports ban them. And I'm like, there's real lives affected by this. Real lives are affected by this. People are embarrassed or sad. Someone that was such a hero to the and has been at the forefront of Puerto Rico now is having to face all this. And this doesn't mean they're bad people.
Both guys, and this is something for the people of Puerto Rico and the people of Boston and the people of the Mets. Again, everyone's going to hate on you guys because of this situation. And even AJ Hinch with Houston, I don't know him. I don't know.
Speaking of Puerto Rico,
no, I don't know his situation when it talks about what he does off the field. But these two guys have done a lot. There was an article written that this Alex Cora and Carlos Beltran did not represent the Roberto Clemente image or whatnot. Again, were you Roberto Clemente? You were not, so you really don't know.
That's one man's opinion.
That's one man's opinion. But again, I think that they've done so much off of it, and they're going to continue to do it, that this should not be their complete legacy of, oh, they're scumbag, they're this. Any of the guys that are involved.
I just think I think for Cora it's going to be harder, for Alex it's going to be harder because he only managed 2 years.
Yeah.
And then he only coached 1. Like I'm literally, when I tell you I've been with, like every time he comes to Chicago, I hang out with him. He's like like a second uncle. And when I talked to him, he expressed remorse. Yeah. And, he's just someone that just got caught. They took it too far. But you move on. You know Alex, the character, like Beltran said in his statement. That's not what his character's about. Oh. He made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. America's the land of, second opportunities. I just hope that when this is all said and done,
everyone gets the same chance.
That everyone gets the same chance. If no one's going to get interviewed, then no one gets interviewed. If Hinch gets interviewed, Alex should get interviewed.
I agree.
If Beltran, he deserves another interview with another team, absolutely. After they pay for it, it should be over. Yeah. But they can also get the Canseco treatment.
Or the Ozzie treatment.
Or, I don't know what's going on with my dad. Or why can't he get an interview?
Systematic ban.
Yeah.
That word might be a little bit too deep for you.
Yeah, no, I know what it means, but it's we love you, but we're not going to let you in the door just yet. So, because Major League Baseball does have the power to do this. They can literally exile you and make you a pariah. And the poster child of this. That's why Jim Crane came out and washed his hands and said, I'm not dealing with this. That's why the Boston said, I'm washing my hands, I'm going to deal with this. Carlos Beltran, there's reports of him saying, I can handle the heat. And the Mets said,
nobody.
No, you can't. Because first time managing, you're going to answer questions. You're going to just do spring training. These things, it's a huge deal. This is the biggest scandal in the history of baseball since the Black Sox. This is bigger than Pete. This is bigger than Leo DeRocher when he got suspended for associating with gamblers. This is a huge deal. Commissioner Manfred, you guys remember I was on this show and I told you guys a month ago, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. It's going to be, and the gauntlet came down. Now, it happened. It's over. Let's look forward to the next season and see what happens. And our eyes are going to be all on the Astros, the Red Sox. If any of these guys have a bad week or go 0 for 10, 0 for 15, like, oh, they all have buzzers. Like Jose Altuve, he's a cheater. Send him back to Venezuela. He could be a jockey, whatever.
What would you do if you were the manager, or how do you think Ozzie would handle this? You know, he gets the job.
Oh, I know.
You're in the
first day of spring training.
First day of spring training.
Full squad.
And then you say we're gonna address this one time and that's it.
And I know exactly what the message would be. Us against the world. Everyone is gonna be against the Astros. Don't be scared. Don't be thinking that the Astros are gonna come to kill everyone.
Imagine if those guys are still good.
The Astros, they're still talented. They're going to try and demoralize everyone. It's going to be us against the world mentality. If they've ever want to do anything, Boston the same way. They're coming. They're going to come, and they're going to come hard.
The Mets can't even do that because they didn't even get it.
The Mets are like, we're just the third wheel here. We don't know what's going on. Like, we just got splashed. We're still okay. But why are we even a part of this? We had nothing to do with this. The Astros next year, I guarantee you, Correa, Bregman, Gurria, all those guys, less going out, more focused than ever to try to come and kill. Even the same thing goes for Verlander, Greinke. It's going to be us against them, and that's going to be the first message to whoever goes in there to that clubhouse. It said, guys, whatever happened. Now we have to go and prove yourselves. And if they by any chance win a World Series, you don't want to be a part of that.
This is funny, and you mentioned a couple guys in that team. So for all the teams out there, they're going to think they're going to come in and drill guys.
Well,
here's the thing, though. There's a couple guys on that Astros team that will not be scared of throwing at somebody. Starting from Osuna.
No, and Verlander, even though he's been very quiet because of what's going on.
But that's what I mean, though. Like if they come out, again, and that's... I know the fans are going to get...
You think any team's going to be like... Well, first of all, there's going to be a pitcher out there that'll take it upon himself, like the guy from the Reds.
Yes.
There's going to be a crazy guy out there that takes it upon himself, or the guy from the Pirates, Kila.
Yeah. That's
going to get fancy and try to just hit somebody, and then a couple fights might break out. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys get hit and they go get it. The Astros go get it because they're gonna have to stand up for themselves. They're gonna be booed heavily. They're gonna be scrutinized heavily. Just be ready.
Yeah, just do the Canseco.
I mean, just be ready because it's gonna come full force. They're gonna even be booed. Even when they go play away in spring training, they're gonna be booed.
Yeah.
So it would be.
I would call Floyd Mayweather and say, "How do you deal with it? How do you deal with it, Floyd?"
I'm going to see the Astros when they play Sox, and I don't even go to Sox games. I am going to go to the.
I'm so worried. I have an Astros hat, I still think Luau's a great. It is what it is. I can't get back on the Astros. Again, this is funny because everybody's like, we hate them, yet we're all building the same way they did.
Yeah, that's why it's a big deal because these two franchises, again, not the Mets, these two franchises were looked at as the poster child of what it needed to be, or what a baseball team should look like, what a manager should look like. Were these guys, Alex, AJ, and now it's like, well, now we know exactly what they were doing.
So should I really want the Dodgers and the Yankees to like completely flop. Because they've been the most vocal, like we lost because they.
You have CC Sabathia, you have all those kind of guys that are coming out and saying like, "Hey, we got cheated." I just hope that it's not a Latino thing that they peg Alex as the bad guy, because right now it just seems like people already forgot about about AJ Hinch and about if you're a manager, you know everything that's going on in the clubhouse. You hear. What is that? You know everything. Everyone knows everything from the clubbies to the chefs to quoting David Sampson, everyone knows everything that happened. There is no secrets.
Yeah.
Because you see these guys all the time. You're traveling with them, so you don't want to see. I mean, Luhau's, they said he was traveling. He's probably just faded. They don't even talk about him. But you don't want it to be like an Alex Cora thing or a Beltran thing, and just these bad. And all of a sudden, I hear a lot of people that are like, oh, AJ Hinch is going to get interviewed and he's going to do all these things. And it's like, you just kind of want a fair treatment for everyone involved. And, don't have these guys as a scapegoat.
Well, here's the thing, though. And people are like, well, you like Alex. I'm like, yeah, so does John Heyman. Writers have the guys they like.
Everyone, you're human.
You're human.
Everyone has people that they like.
And people have people that don't like. I think, and then, by the way, that burner account, that's somebody that knows a lot of stuff.
It
ain't me, I know that.
Beltran's niece.
Very attractive, by the way.
Yeah, whoever that is has been breaking stories left and right. She went from public to private. So it's a pretty solid account. You just never know. What if a picture leaks out? Or what if they wait to the opening day and they send a picture out with this guy wearing a buzzer or something like that? And Altuve's from Venezuela. He's one of our guys.
I haven't even tweeted anything because again I'm not gonna defend or I'm not gonna defend or I'm not gonna condone or I'm not gonna talk bad about him. Again, to me this is like a conspiracy theory. I want to be able to move on. I don't think Ozzie will be interviewed because why would he get interviewed now since 8 years?
And we don't want him interviewed. We want him here on the Vida every Friday with us on Being Green. If he was being interviewed, he'd be managing. He wouldn't be with us.
And he wouldn't be with us. But that's what I'm saying, though. So, people need to understand, okay, we need to move on. Let's play baseball. People need to just realize and say, hey, again, we need to play baseball. Guys,
this is by far the most excited I've been for a season since 2012.
Do you think that the guys from 8 Men Out back in the day, by the way, no Latinos on that team.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
just throwing that one out there. No Latinos in 1990. By the way, we forgave them now. We're having a game in Iowa in their name of the team that cheated. That's why the Sox and the Yankees are playing there. So 8 Men Out. Do you think other teams were like, man, you guys are horrible. You threw away the World Series. Whatever.
They were just mad that Charles Comiskey wouldn't pay them. Everyone's seen that movie. Even Joe Jackson, Shoeless Joe Jackson, he hit 375. He's like, I was awesome.
Yeah,
but
so that's what I mean though. Do you think that now the players are going to be calling each other out more? Or
absolutely, I know Marcus Stroman's calling people out.
Well, Marcus Stroman calls out his shadow.
I think now if you're an opposing player, we're all humans, and you see the guy you're competing with, and you look at Bregman. In your mind, you're thinking, you cheated. I'm better than you. You cheated. I'm better than you. And now that's what it comes down to.
Would this be wrong? Again, I do not work for a Major League Baseball team. You're playing the Mets, and you're the Houston Astros. Stroman's on the mound, and you pretend that you're going, that you're going to hit it, just to psych them out. Are we still doing it?
I mean,
you know what I mean? Trust, if you're on the mound, you're like, oh, they got a different thing, and then look at them and say, you never know.
Yeah, but that's the thing that people also don't get. When you're playing and you think somebody else has your signs, that's easy. You're the pitcher. You have the ball. You think this guy has my signs? Buzz him. Throw one at his head. Oh, here comes a fastball, and he's like, oh my God. That's how you do it. That's how you take care of it. The game used to police itself, but now we're in the soft era of buzzers and cameras and stuff because it used to be about drilling guys, playing hard. That doesn't exist anymore. So you know why they're going to trash Latinos and forget about AJ Hinch? Because he's not Latino. Thanks for your comment, Tony. I really hope that that's not true, but we have to be realistic about the world that we live in, and we're living through some difficult times.
And by the way, this is happening before the president that's currently here. Because everyone's like, oh, again, I saw the memes between, again, all those.
Well, I mean, how many minority? Well, we lost 2 minority managers in the blink of an eye.
But here's the thing, though, with the minority managers, okay? And this is something I wanted to touch upon. Just because you're a minority,
it doesn't mean you have to get hired.
Not only get hired. Major League Baseball wants a certain type of manager.
Also, but Major League Baseball does encourage.
No, but I mean,
and minority hire.
So Rick Ventura is the same as hiring as Ozzie Guillén.
Yes.
No. I'm talking about. I think that they want managers to be able to play the game of them or them saying, you know what, this was really happening. They don't want guys to have a voice. They don't want guys to.
Yeah, because that's dangerous.
That's what I'm saying.
As we've noticed, that's very dangerous. Owners are looking for yes men as managers. Lou, our good buddy Lou. Unfortunately, he's right.
He's right. That's what
I'm saying.
They don't want
guys to be dangerous or something happens and the next day they come out and they say, oh, so-and-so, they don't want anyone that's going to be controversial. So that's why they had these two poster boys with AJ Hinch and Alex Cora. They were not controversial. That's why I think it's going to be hard for our dad to get a shot, or guys that have more fire or more old school guys, because they want guys that they can control. Okay,
Oh, exactly.
So Ricky is controllable. Okay, he's very, very controllable. That's why teams are looking for guys that are more, easygoing, not going to fly off the handle. They can control them. So that's what we should expect.
Scott Anderson, is Eduardo Perez going to get the Mets manager's job? Scott, I believe that he is the best option. He is besties with the general manager, team president.
He used to be his agent.
For many
years.
It's like hiring your buddy that made you money as an agent. I think Eduardo Perez is more than qualified to be a manager.
If I'm him, I'm asking for more money.
Yeah, if I'm Eduardo,
you want me to come in? Fine, but I need a little bit more money than you're going to give me.
Beltran was only making $1 million a year after taxes, like $700K.
Yeah, it's weird. And now Beltran will not get any of his salary, but they're going to donate $200,000 to his foundation. I think Carlos just wanted to manage to be a manager, and I think he's a little worried. I have my sources that are close to him. I think he's more worried about the Hall of Fame than he is manager.
I think that...
Will this hurt him?
Yes. I don't think he was a Hall of Famer already, like a guarantee, like Derek Jeter.
But now is going to be...
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for him.
Right. It's not going to be easy for him. That's what he was most worried about, is a Hall of Fame and what's going to happen down the road with his voting. We don't know what's going to happen. We're still going to wait for MLB suspension of the investigation of the Red Sox and see what happens with Mr. Cora. Everything's up in the air. So... we don't know what's going to happen now.
Do you have trust in MLB? Do you have trust in MLB? To me, MLB is like the government. They're there. It's fun. They make stuff run, but I don't really trust them.
I mean, I don't trust them, but they did go above and beyond with these suspensions, and I think they're becoming better with it. I don't think the suspensions were too harsh. I think they were just right.
No, that's for sure.
They find them the most amount they could. I think they did. I think this deters teams from having to cheat. The NFL could have taken a page from the. Bill Belichick didn't get suspended a game.
Yeah.
Sean Payton got suspended 1 year with the Saints and came back to manage the Saints. I think MLB is really trying to put an end to all the shenanigans and the foolery that's going on.
I think they wanted to do this when the steroid era happened, and they didn't, and now they have to kind of catch up, and that's why they try to come out as much as possible and lay the hammer down. And unfortunately, it's guys that we know that got taken, but it wasn't like.
But cheating will never, do you think cheating will ever be gone?
No, cheating will never be gone.
There's always going to be some kind of guy that's going to try to get an edge as far as being on the field, but that's all fair play. That's all fair play. I just think nowadays, before you step into the video room, guys are going to be like, hey, who's around me or what's going on?
The part that I'm more worried about is the trust.
Who can I trust?
I am going out to eat by myself with somebody. I'm not having conversations. I'm like,
right now, if you're anyone, you're like, man, who can I tell stuff to, or who can I bounce stuff off? Like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Because when those investigations happen, like you mentioned, Sammy the Bull Gravano, anyone can turn on anyone.
Oh yeah,
anyone can turn on anyone. That does affect team chemistry. That does affect everything.
Well, except the Mets because they didn't have anything.
You don't think when the Astros get back to spring training right now, the Astros and the Red Sox get back to spring training, they're looking around like
who snitched?
Who's talking here, or what happened to who is leaking?
Oh, clubhouse guys are scared. Chefs are scared.
Exactly.
Trainers are scared because they're like, are they going to fire all of us because someone's talking? Because that's the sort of thing that if you're like Altuve and nobody knew about this, and you're like, who is giving out this information?
Yeah, but to Tony's point, Tony Cintron, he's wondering about the player suspensions. You can't suspend a whole team.
No, you can't.
You just can't do that. It's too hard. The union's too strong. Litigations, this would drag on forever. That's why you take off the head guys in charge. But walking into the clubhouse, where's the Houston facility? Florida somewhere.
Yeah,
West Palm Beach. You go in there and you're like, these guys are texting and they're like, what is going on? What happened to our trust? Or who is leaking stuff? Did Alex do this? Did AJ do this? Who's throwing who under the bus? Altuve, are you really doing this? There's so many questions that you're in the clubhouse with these guys every day. And that's the one thing you don't trust. If anything, I think these guys are going to be together more than ever.
They're going to unite more.
More than ever.
I think they're going to unite more.
It's going to be us against the world, and they're going to come together. The same thing for the Red Sox. And, going back, the Mets got splashed. They don't have anything to do with this. They're just like, look, we made a decision, and now they have to.
Well, you guys, Mets, even with Beltran, you guys are going to finish third.
Most likely. So the real reason baseball is cracking down is because they can't have any whiff of the game not being legit with the expected increase in legality, popularity, and revenues from sports gambling. That's our buddy fill in the blank.
Sports gambling. You're not a big gambler.
No, I'm not a gambler. And, Pete Rose did get banned, but people don't realize this. The reason that Pete got banned
he's a manager too.
was this was a rule that was set in place. What happened with the Black Sox? If you gamble, you will be banned. Pete took a chance. He got caught. Don't get caught.
Well, not only did Pete take a chance, Pete was very open about his gambling in other sports.
Right, and then what happened when they asked him about it? He denied it.
And then by the way, people don't realize this. It wasn't a Major League Baseball investigation that got Pete Rose. It was an FBI investigation that got organized crime. They thought it was cool, like, we have Pete Rose on our books.
But this is a country of second chances. Why can't Alex Rodriguez be in a booth and Pete Rose not be into the
Well, here's the part I think is funny about that, about what the Jessica Mendoza thing is. One person saying that it was okay to, you shouldn't have squealed, but the guy, like, I love
he wasn't
A-Rod.
anonymous.
I'm saying, I love A-Rod. I love him. I think that he's a great guy in the booth. I think that. But if I hear him say one thing about cheating,
he can't. He should not.
Every time they ask him the question, you just say, you know what?
I'm a two-time offender.
I'm a two-time offender.
I can't really, express myself and stuff. The fact that Mike Friars, whatever his name, the guy
bad beard.
Yeah. The fact that he put his name to this, I respect that guy.
You gotta give him
he
credit.
didn't say, "Hey, this is anonymous." This is what people do. Anonymous guy, so and so is cheating and they're doing this, but don't say my name. He said, "Mike Friars, these guys are doing this." I respect that.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are mad at him for whistleblowing, are you out of your mind? Don't we want an even playing field? So that's what I don't like, that people are attacking this guy for having the gall and the audacity to put himself out there.
I think I give him respect that he did it while he's
still
playing.
Pitching?
He's still playing.
Isn't he still pitching?
Yeah.
Okay, that goes back to our example in chemistry. Mike Friars walks in the clubhouse, and you're like, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna tell this guy, or say like, hey, stay away from him. He's gonna be eating by himself. Those are the kind of things that, guys are very like. It's like a frat. Like who's in and who's out. It's very interesting.
It's gonna be interesting. Like even with the women coach, like I know guys are gonna be like. They're only gonna have conversations that are like on the field.
Yeah, or stay away. You don't know anything. You might say you overhear something. It's a very interesting 2020 season. I wish spring training was tomorrow, because I want.
Oh, and by the way, we still have to let guys pitch 3 innings.
Oh, and
three
there's
batters.
so much going on. Baseball is at the forefront. We're on the news all the time.
We wanted to speed up the game, and you guys were worried about. You guys wanted the game to go fast.
So
That's
going
why.
On. There's scandals. There's ballots. There's just like. Baseball is 24/7. There's talking about it on all kind of talk shows, even that have nothing to do with sports.
Should they think Alex and AJ Hinch that they're now?
I think Alex, or maybe say thank you for the publicity.
Thank you for the publicity.
There's no such thing as bad press. This helped. I don't care who says anything. This helped MLB.
Yeah.
This helped MLB's
So is it like the race between McGuire and Sosa?
This helped the negatives and the eyeballs. This helped MLB. I don't care what anyone says. People will be watching. There will be people at the Astros facility, at the Red Sox facility. There's going to be more media members. This helped MLB make it more popular.
What do you think about Boston? I wanted to bring that up about, they've been linked to multiple. The city of Boston in scandals.
Well, Boston is I guess like they said in the thing. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. They got Spygate. They got guys.
City of champions.
Eli Perez. I feel that sign stealing is encouraged in college level, so you can have the advantage on the baseball field. Sign stealing, and I will, Eli. Sign stealing has always been a part of the game since back in the 1900s. If you can steal someone's sign, good for you.
Abner Doubleday was
just
a sign stealer.
No devices and no real time and no trash can banging. You can do anything you want before and after the game. During the game, no devices. Use your mind, use your eyes. And that's what's unfortunate, because anyone that knows Alex or Beltran knows that these guys were at the top of their class when it came to this.
Well, Alex should have. The part is, it's like when you want to help. If Alex would have kept this to himself,
or done it with one guy.
One guy. Yeah, the fact that he wanted to help Houston and AJ Hinch.
I mean,
here's the part that I think it's interesting. He really wanted to win. If I'm the manager in Boston, I say, you know what? I'm taking my chances. This is my ring. Or you just gave AJ Hinch a ring.
You think about when anyone that knows that's played the game or fans or any team that you're on, when you're in it and the adrenaline's rushing, you will do anything. You will do anything to get an edge. You will do anything to get an edge. And said, you know what? But anyone that's played the game, that would help tremendously knowing what's coming and having all that. These guys got caught. Unfortunately, they have to pay the price, and it is what it is. You don't want to get in trouble. Don't.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Like, that didn't help the cause was like catchers couldn't go to the mound to change the signs.
Yeah, but I totally agree. But they're having to go to the mound without runners on base.
That's what I mean. Like it made it even harder for them. That I think that this whole thing is also a mentality thing. Of like now you come to pitch and you still get tattooed and you say, man, I'm really
like,
not good.
I just suck. Like you're just getting hit. But I guarantee you that when I guarantee you if this was happening, I guarantee you when Altuve or the Houston Astros went on the road, they were like, hey, we might have to focus more. We don't have that edge today. And that's why it makes it a little harder. You're like, I got a little help. It's like in your mind, you know the truth. Like you look in the mirror, you're like, hey guys, we know we're doing this. Boston was amazing at home. Houston was amazing at home. They went on the road and they saw their struggles. This isn't a.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to tell you, all Boston fans can't hear you. They got too many rings in their ears.
Oh! See, that's a city. That's city of Boston. All they do is win in Boston. But how do they win? No, I'm kidding.
No, but here's the thing, though. And again, I think that people go to that, and I think that's why even in the news, the Yankee fans are so upset. The only game that we have a video of is the Houston Astro game. I don't know when Boston did it, and we'll find out in the investigation. And maybe the investigation comes out that Alex didn't, do in Boston. Because remember, the whole iWatch thing was
Apple Watch was before Alex.
The Apple Watch was before Alex, and we're not endorsed by Apple Watch.
They're saying that this is an organizational problem. So, there's guys but unfortunately, they're going to put a face to this scandal, and that face is going to be of Alex Cora and hopefully, AJ Hinch as well. But fill in the blank, Correa in a post-game interview basically saying it's unbelievable that Altuve could even be looking slider in that conference as Chapman. Well, I've seen that video about 20 times. The fact that he can hit that slider and pull it, Chapman's throwing 99. I liked it. I don't know if he was buzzed or there was a from above, but now that you see it, he sees a pitch, he waits, and then he reacts. Guys, anyone that's played knows that you know how hard it is to hit a 99 slider, even though it was a little bit up, and now the whole jersey thing, my wife, doesn't want to say. If anyone buys that, if anyone buys that, you believe in the Easter Bunny.
By the way, fill in the blanks is a big follower of Cuban baseball. I think they should go back old school Jose Contreras style. No signs. Just throw. You have to be a really good catcher to do that. But that's how Jose did it in Cuba with his catcher. He would just be like, no signs because of sign stealing. And he would tip, just throw whatever you want.
There's just so many.
That's like.
There are just so many stories. I remember, even my dad telling stories about when he was hitting and the catcher's putting down signs and he's looking at the hitter, because if a catcher sees you looking at his signs, there's problems.
Oh, you're fighting.
You're fighting. Like, you think I'm going to disrespect the integrity of the game? Like, I'm not looking at your signs. So even the look where a catcher's set up, is he outside, is he inside? That's all part of the game. But they're in the game. They're in uniform. They're not with cameras. Yeah. That's what the difference is.
Well, it's funny now being Guillén. One of the things that we always had to be careful about, and our buddy Ryan Dempster was the one that made a joke of Ozzie's kids were out there in the fight and doing this. But there was teams that were like, why is Ozzie's kids in the dugout? What are they doing? How are they helping the team? Because they want to know who's there, what are they doing.
Any uniform personnel.
They want to monitor that.
And literally all we were doing was eating seeds.
Yeah,
I was just eating seeds and cheering.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. So I think that when you bat boy, again, is this cheating scandal?
I know you have bat boy stories of guys telling Ozzie, hey, whenever I hit, hurry up and pick up that bat.
Okay,
and Ozzie's what?
We're not gonna go with the bat one, but I have one about that I could talk about. And this was me again. This is like an old school bat boy thing. So when I'm not gonna say the player told me this. So when you rub the balls, you rub them brown.
Yeah, you get the dirt on them. Yeah.
Again, I was a young kid. You're doing both sides, rub. A player was like, "Why are ours should be lighter than theirs?" Okay. So I went and took it to the extreme because I would do a little bit.
And
At the end, I was literally going like this. Every time like our team was hitting, I would grab the rub. I had a side that their ball was wider, and you had the pitcher, which is funny how the game goes. And he's like throwing it to the umpire.
I'm throwing this.
Like he would throw it back, and
So
he did it. The umpire pulled me aside when I went. He goes, "Hey, come on," and I said, "What?" He goes, "Bring darker balls."
Basically,
And-
you were trying to give an advantage to your team by having your balls lighter, and theirs darker. See?
And some
We
umpires
can call him Tom Brady 2.0. Deflate
No,
game.
but it's funny how that works. But the umpire was like, or the umpires literally grab balls because you try to sink a couple in, and they grab the balls and they go 2, and they give you the other ones like.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Yeah, Phil Contreras loves this Cube Baseball. Get Contreras on the show. We're gonna get Jose on the show. Remember, Sox Fest is next week, along with my birthday. Anybody out there, I'll be out. I'll probably be out tonight. Anybody wants to come out and have a good time on my birthday? Join us. Sox Fest is next week. Very excited about that. There's also all these fan fests going on right now for every team.
That's awkward.
Could you imagine being Altuve or just the Astros team showing up on stage and people are like, all a million questions, and they don't even have a manager. They have a fan fest. They don't have a manager. The Red Sox also. I know Alex was supposed. I think that's where they had the meeting.
Yeah.
He was supposed to appear for the Boston Fest, and that's where they told him kind of like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do." If I'm very, very curious if the Astros guys all show up. I know Reddick did, but I haven't. No one's seen an interview about Altuve. No one's seen an interview about Correa. I'm very active looking at their Instagram.
But I think
looking
also,
at their Twitter.
but I think that when you go to the gossip, like today we saw Chapman, put a picture of
him eating popcorn.
Somebody eating popcorn, like watching this
That's
drama.
great.
I think that's funny. Guys taking it down again. Guys are going to be affected. Like I know Frank Thomas, for example, has a huge issue that fact that Giambi won that MVP over him. He'd have again. He's a Hall of Famer, but personally, he's like
I remember being 8 years old in the Sox clubhouse, and Frank would read the paper every morning. He'd read his stats, and he'd come in and he'd just scream, "They're cheating me! They're cheating me!" And I'm like, "What? What is this? I was a kid. What is this guy talking about?" Now that I go back, he was referring to PDs. And I didn't know that, but every day he'd look and he would say this, "Oh, they're cheating me, they're cheating me." That's why I have so much respect for Frank Thomas, because he's always been at the forefront of guys playing clean. And now he's on a panel with one guy who got shot and the other one who cheated twice. It's like, this is America, you gotta love it.
But that's the part about baseball,
it.
though. But again, we're gonna be here next week. It's going to be interesting. We're gonna keep it being Guillén. Ozzie will be back in town. We couldn't get him. He's actually going through immigration. I am
gonna get a cake on Friday for my birthday.
We're gonna be there, but it's gonna be here. You know what, guys? We'll be back. If you find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, on demand, Being Guillén, La Vida Baseball will be back next week. So see you soon. Bye.